The lack of transportation options in rural areas has a significant impact on residents getting the access to health care that they need. Let's take a look at how communities are coming together to give residents both the transportation and health care access they deserve. Welcome all. Jason, let's start with you. Give us some sense of the challenges some rural residents are facing in terms of transportation.
So the challenges rural residents face with transportation, and specifically those to health, is really a perfect storm of a challenge. First, you have rural North Carolina, which is generally less healthy than urban or suburban North Carolina. If you look at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation county health rankings, the least healthy 25 counties in the state are all intensely rural, factored into the northeastern part of the state and in the Sandhills south side part of the state. So you have that challenge. Second, you have a challenge of rural North Carolina that is aging. North Carolina generally is aging, but rural North Carolina is ahead of the curve.
Right.
So you have aging individuals with chronic needs. Three, you have the challenge of providing public transportation in rural areas. Public transportation works best when you have density. That is not rural North Carolina. It's estimated, based on what I've heard from the rural planning organizations we partner with, is that approximately 6.97% of the rural population in the state does not have an automobile. My guess is that skews to an older population. So the challenge is that a high population with high health needs, limited access to public transportation.
So Hanna, you're with the Department of Transportation. These are not surprising statistics for you.
Absolutely.
How is your agency responding?
North Carolina DOT partners with transit providers all across the state. We've got 98 systems that are covering every community in North Carolina. But as we go through this Medicaid transformation, we are really faced with some daunting challenges about how we continue to provide that level of access to communities and every person across the state. So we are paying attention to those things and looking for opportunities to innovate around new technologies, new collaborations, and finding ways to partner together to be both efficient and reach every community.
So lots is being done, Brandy, but what are you hearing on the ground about the gaps that still exist?
Yeah, so we're definitely aware of the wonderful programs that currently exist and the innovation that communities are creating because they generally have to, right? What we're also hearing is there continue to be gaps or people getting access to transportation to get to work, right? We know that in more communities that anchor institutions are really centered in a rural community. And so for folks on the outskirts really having the need to gain access to those services have to go from out to within to where those those services are really located. So to that effect, what we hear from community members is that the challenge still remains, that while we do have great programs, there is still a significant need